Hello everyone. This video is for the small business owners out there. I have a session of my bookkeeping certification program running right now, and I have a few students in there who are taking the program because they are business owners, and it has been brought to their attention that the bookkeepers they had hired were not doing their jobs or were not doing their jobs correctly. Okay, so I just wanted to throw something together real quick for you business owners out there. It is the key month-end questions that you should be asking your bookkeeper every month, and then key reports that you should be asking to see every month. Okay, it is fine if you outsource your bookkeeping. It's not a problem. I actually recommend it if bookkeeping is not in your wheelhouse. Okay, but you need to be able to oversee your bookkeeper. Okay, you don't want to be in a situation where you own a business and you hire a bookkeeper, and then 7 months, 8 months, 15 months down the road, that bookkeeper leaves, and then you find out that they weren't doing anything or they were not doing things correctly. Like, that can literally make or break your business. Okay, as the business owner, you can't have that. All right, you need to be proactive, and you need to be able to oversee your bookkeeper. Okay, you do not want to be blind to your finances. All right, so questions you should be asking at the end of every month: are all transactions entered and reconciled? Okay, and at this point you can follow it up with whether or not all of the bank reconciliations are done. Okay, at the end of every month, reconciliations should be getting done for every bank account that the business has, any credit cards that the business has. If you use a third-party payment platform like Venmo for Business, Stripe, Clover, if you have a point of sale system, which means that you accept credit card payments, right? That means you have a third-party payment platform. So you have entries that you need to get into your books, okay? When you accept a payment by credit card, that company collects the money for you. Then they take a fee from it, which is called a merchant's fee, and then you get the net amount deposited into your account, okay? If that's happening every day, if you have a lot of activity and you accept a lot of credit card payments, those amounts have to get entered into your books, okay? And that's generally a month-end journal entry. If you have a lot of activity, that can be done daily, it can be done weekly. But worst case scenario is it's getting done monthly, okay? So you want to make sure that those transactions are getting done. You want to make sure that all invoices are entered and done for your customers, and you want to make sure that all invoices you have for money that you owe out to your vendors or suppliers or whatever the case may be, you want to make sure that all of those invoices for the month are entered. Okay, so number one, are all transactions entered and reconciled, right? Which is going to verify whether or not the reconciliations are done, your bank reconciliations. You want to ask if all customer invoices are entered and done for the month, and if all of your accounts payable is entered and done for the month. Okay, and then you want to ask for the following reports at the end of every month. You want to ask to see an accounts receivable aging and accounts payable aging. Okay, you want to scan that report, both of those reports, every month. That report, if you have not seen one, is set up by days. So you will see a column for current bills, and then you will see one that's 30 days plus, 60 days plus, and 90 days plus. Okay, so you want to scan like that 60-day column and that 90-day column for both your receivables and your payables, right? If you see a lot of customers who owe you money and they're showing up in that 60-day column or that 90-day column, that's a red flag. Ask questions, right? Maybe they have, in fact, not paid you. So someone needs to be making some phone calls to try to collect that money, okay? Maybe they have paid you, and maybe that money went into your bank account, but your bookkeeper didn't enter the information into your computer system. Or she didn't, if you have a manual system, she didn't do what she needed to get them on the books, okay? That stuff has to get entered on your books. Same thing for payables. If you see invoices that you owe to your suppliers or your vendors that are in the 60-day column and the 90-day column, and you're not aware of having any past due outstanding balances like that, ask. All right, that is a red flag for you. Why do we show that we owe Joe Smith? Why is this invoice 90 days past due? I thought we paid this already. Or why haven't we paid this already? Okay, it may very well be a situation where it was paid, but your bookkeeper did not enter it into your books, whether you use software or you keep it manually, all right? So that would kind of show that they're not doing what they're supposed to. Again, you don't need to know bookkeeping inside and out. You don't have to do bookkeeping. It's fine to outsource it. But those types of things will be red flags for you, okay? And then the last two things you want to see, you want to look at the income statement, and you want to look at the income statement and look at a comparison in time, okay? Especially if you're not into bookkeeping. If you just look at the month of October on your income statement, might not provide a lot of information for you if you don't know the ins and outs of bookkeeping. But if you ask to see a year-to-date comparison, that income statement or profit and loss, same thing, it's going to print, and it's literally going to have a column for every month in the year. They're all side by side. So scan it over and see if you notice any big jumps in numbers, if you see any big increases or big decreases, and you're not aware of any transactions or any activity that happened that would cause that, that's a red flag for you. Okay. And then you want to ask to see the balance sheet. And same thing, the balance sheet is not a cumulative report. It doesn't provide cumulative information like an income statement or, your profit and loss statement showing you all of your revenues, all of your expenses for the time period. A balance sheet is simply a snapshot of a point in time. Okay. Your balance sheet shows your assets, your liabilities, and your owner's equity. Okay. But you can look to see your balance sheet for month ending in September. First of all, if you're asking for this every month, keep the reports, right? And so if you just ask for the balance sheet for the month of October, you can pull out your September report and compare it, okay? If you see a big jump in your assets and you didn't purchase any new assets, that's a red flag, okay? Or a decrease in your assets. If September you had $35,000 in assets and in October you have $17,000 in assets, that's a red flag. Did you sell equipment? Did you get rid of something? Like, what would cause that drop in assets? Same thing for liabilities. If you see a huge jump in your liabilities and you didn't take out any loans or borrow any money, that's a red flag. Okay, so you don't need to know the ins and outs, but if you're comparing things from month to month and kind of getting a sense of what your numbers look like each month, when something's off, you'll notice it and it will be a red flag for you. Okay, so make sure you are asking these questions and you are asking for these reports at the end of every month. And if you have a bookkeeper, I'm going to assume that you have an accountant. Maybe that accountant just comes in annually and does your tax return. Maybe you have them coming quarterly. Who knows, whatever it is that you do, whatever works best for you. But if you're looking at those reports and things are off, you can call your accountant and say, listen, I asked Sally for the income statement and I'm seeing some variations in the numbers from month to month and I'm not sure what that's about. I'd like someone to look into this. Okay. But again, you need to be proactive. You need to be able to oversee your bookkeeper. Okay. Do not be blind to your finances.